Welcome to IT and Network King's official channel. CCNA Exam Practice Questions and Answers, CCNAv7, CCNA Exam Questions, Part 4. A router boots and enters setup mode. What is the reason for this? The post process has detected hardware failure. The iOS image is corrupt. Cisco iOS is missing from flash memory. The configuration file is missing from NVRAM. Answer: the configuration file is missing from NVRAM. Which command is used to encrypt all passwords in a router configuration file? Enable secret less than password greater than. Encrypt password. Service password encryption. Enable password less than password greater than. Answer: service password encryption. Company policy requires using the most secure method to safeguard access to the privileged exec and configuration mode on the routers. The privileged exec password is trust no one. Which of the following router commands achieves the goal of providing the highest level of security? Secret password trust no one. Service password encryption. Enable secret trust no one. Enable password trust no one. Answer: enable secret trust no one. Which command can be used on a Cisco router to display all interfaces, the IPv4 address assigned, and the current status? Show interface FA0/1. Show IP route. Show IP interface brief. Ping. Answer: show IP interface brief. Which CLI mode allows users to access all device commands, such as those used for configuration, management, and troubleshooting? User exec mode. Interface configuration mode. Privileged exec mode. Global configuration mode. Answer: privileged exec mode. What is the purpose of the startup configuration file on a Cisco router? To provide a limited backup version of the iOS, in case the router cannot load the full-featured iOS. To contain the commands that are used to initially configure a router on startup. To contain the configuration commands that the router iOS is currently using. To facilitate the basic operation of the hardware components of a device. Answer: to contain the commands that are used to initially configure a router on startup. Which characteristic describes the default gateway of a host computer? The physical address of the switch interface connected to the host computer. The logical address assigned to the switch interface connected to the router. The logical address of the router interface on the same network as the host computer. The physical address of the router interface on the same network as the host computer. Answer: the logical address of the router interface on the same network as the host computer. What is the purpose of the banner MOTD command? It is a way that routers communicate the status of their links with one another. It provides an easy way of communicating with any user attached to a router's LANs. It configures a message that will identify printed documents to LAN users. It provides a way to make announcements to those who log into a router. Answer: it provides a way to make announcements to those who log into a router. A technician is configuring a router to allow for all forms of management access. As part of each different type of access, the technician is trying to type the command login. Which configuration mode should be entered to do this task? User executive mode. Any line configuration mode. Privileged exec mode. Global configuration mode. Answer: any line configuration mode. What is stored in the NVRAM of a Cisco router? The startup configuration. The running configuration. The Cisco iOS. The boot up instructions. Answer: the startup configuration. Which statement regarding the service password encryption command is true? It is configured in privileged exec mode. To see the passwords encrypted by the service password encryption command in plain text, issue the no service password encryption command. It encrypts only line mode passwords. As soon as the service password encryption command is entered, all currently set passwords formerly displayed in plain text are encrypted. Answer: as soon as the service password encryption command is entered, all currently set passwords formerly displayed in plain text are encrypted. What is the prefix length notation for the subnet mask 255.255.255.224? 25. 28. 26. 27. Answer: 27. How many valid host addresses are available on an IPv4 subnet that is configured with a 26 mask? 192. 64. 254. 190. 62. Answer, 62. Which subnet mask would be used if 5 host bits are available? 255.255.255.224. 255.255.255.0. 255.255.255.240. 255.255.255.128. Answer, 255.255.255.224. A network administrator subnets the 192.168.10.0/24 network into subnets with 26 masks. How many equal-sized subnets are created? 16, 2, 8, 64, 1, 4. Answer, 4. What subnet mask is represented by the slash notation 20? 255.255.240.0. 255.255.255.248. 255.255.255.192. 255.255.255.0. 255.255.224.0. Answer, 255.255.240.0. Which statement is true about variable length subnet masking? Subnets may only be subnetted one additional time. Each subnet is the same size. The size of each subnet may be different, depending on requirements. Bits are returned, rather than borrowed, to create additional subnets. Answer, the size of each subnet may be different, depending on requirements. Why does a Layer 3 device perform the ANDing process on a destination IP address and subnet mask? To identify faulty frames. To identify the broadcast address of the destination network. To identify the host address of the destination host. To identify the network address of the destination network. Answer, to identify the network address of the destination network. How many usable IP addresses are available on the 192.168.1.0/27 network? 254, 32, 256, 16, 62, 30. Answer, 30. Which subnet mask would be used if exactly 4 host bits are available? 255.255.255.224. 255.255.255.128. 255.255.255.240. 255.255.255.248. Answer, 255.255.255.240. Which two parts are components of an IPv4 address? Choose 2. Network portion, subnet portion, host portion, logical portion, broadcast portion, physical portion. Answer, network portion, host portion. If a network device has a mask of 26, how many IP addresses are available for hosts on this network? 32, 30, 62, 14, 16, 64. Answer, 62. What does the IP address 172.17.4.250/24 represent? Network address, host address, broadcast address, multicast address. Answer, host address. If a network device has a mask of 28, how many IP addresses are available for hosts on this network? 62, 14, 16, 254, 256, 32. Answer, 14. What is the purpose of the subnet mask in conjunction with an IP address? To identify whether the address is public or private. To determine the subnet to which the host belongs. To mask the IP address to outsiders. To uniquely identify a host on a network. Answer, to determine the subnet to which the host belongs. A network administrator is variably subnetting a network. The smallest subnet has a mask of 255.255.255.224. How many usable host addresses will this subnet provide? 2, 6, 14, 30, 62. Answer, 30. What type of address is automatically assigned to an interface when IPv6 is enabled on that interface? Global unicast. Loopback. Unique local. Link local. Answer. Link local. What is the purpose of the command ping? 1. It tests the broadcast capability of all hosts on the subnet. It tests the reachability of the default gateway for the network. It tests the multicast connectivity to all hosts on the subnet. It tests the internal configuration of an IPv6 host. Answer. It tests the internal configuration of an IPv6 host. Which address type is not supported in IPv6? Broadcast, multicast, private, unicast. Answer. Broadcast. What is indicated by a successful ping to the 1 IPv6 address? The default gateway address is correctly configured. IP is properly installed on the host. All hosts on the local link are available. The host is cabled properly. The link local address is correctly configured. Answer. IP is properly installed on the host. What is the minimum configuration for a router interface that is enabled for IPv6? To have a link local IPv6 address. To have both an IPv4 and an IPv6 address. To have a self-generated loopback address. To have both a link local and a global unicast IPv6 address. Answer. To have a link local IPv6 address. At a minimum, which address is required on IPv6 enabled interfaces? Global unicast. Link local. Unique local. Site local. Answer. Link local. What are 3 parts of an IPv6 global unicast address? Choose 3. A subnet ID that is used to identify networks inside of the local enterprise site. A global routing prefix that is used to identify the portion of the network address provided by a local administrator. An interface ID that is used to identify the local network for a particular host. A global routing prefix that is used to identify the network portion of the address that has been provided by an ISP. An interface ID that is used to identify the local host on the network. Answer. A global routing prefix that is used to identify the network portion of the address that has been provided by an ISP. An interface ID that is used to identify the local host on the network. Which type of IPv6 address is not routable and used only for communication on a single subnet? Unique local address. Unspecified address. Loopback address. Global unicast address. Link local address. Answer. Link local address. Please like and subscribe IT and Network Kings official channel.